So now I have the privilege of introducing our keynote speaker. Claudia Romo Edelman is an advocate for inclusion, equity, and representation. Her mission is to use her voice to build bridges and remind us that we are all human. She is the founder of the We Are All Human Foundation. She was a Mexican-Swiss diplomat in the executive office of the Secretary General of the United Nations. Claudia holds degrees in communications, philosophy, and photography, as well as a master's in political communications from the London School of Economics. Claudia is married and has 2 children. She enjoys sports and speaks not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 different languages. Yeah. Let's give a great A Familia welcome to our keynote speaker, Claudia Romo Edelman.
Thank you so very much for that very kind and exciting introduction. It is such a pleasure to be here in Nashville, beautiful Nashville, and even more a pleasure to be able to address this incredible audience. When I was invited to be a speaker to you, I took it immediately because I have a message to share with you. I have something to tell you. This is our time. The time for Hispanics has arrived. There's never been a better moment for us. And the time to awaken the sleeping giant is here, and we're gonna make it roar, aren't we? So the time for Hispanics to believe in ourselves is today. No more doubts. This is our moment. We've never, ever been so strong. We need to move from fear to forward, from doubt to assertiveness, from many to one. We need to act as a community, and we need to be unified, because the time is today, and the time to act is now. And I'm not saying this because I'm a super proud Latina that is coming here and saying, like, yes, we can do this. No, it's because for the last 25 years, I've been working for the United Nations, UNICEF, the Global Fund, working in Africa, in Asia, in different countries, and I have seen communities come out of nothing and thrive with by far less than what we have. So I believe that this is the time and that we can get the job done. But again, let's just get onto the same page, okay? Let's get onto data. And you're too many to ask, but I would be tempted to ask you to raise your hand and tell me if you are surprised by any of the things that I'm gonna say now. But we Hispanics, we are the people of this country. We're 60 million, we crossed the line of 60 million. We're 18% of the population. We are, and not only it is what we are today, it is what we represent, because by 2050, 1/4 of the population of this country will be Hispanic. And 1/3 of us is younger than 18 years old. We are the people. Number 2, we are the economic power. I know that you have heard it, I know that you're clever, I know that you're here because you study the numbers, but let us be clear. Our economic power is $2.1 trillion. That is 12% of the GDP of this country. If you put it together just as a standalone economy, we would be the 7th largest of the world. Here in America, our Hispanic power will be the 7th largest economy of the world together. Number 3, we are the entrepreneurs, the job makers. Latinos account for 1 in every 5 new jobs in America. Since the Great Recession, we have created 87% of every new single job. Yes, we are the entrepreneurs. And wait, we don't only create jobs, we succeed on them. Latino-owned firms grew by 22%, while non-Latino-owned firms shrunk by 2% in a period of 5 years, from 2007 to 2012. And actually, there's more. We are job creators. 46% of growth employment is attributed to Latinos. And here goes to my Latinas. Latinas create small businesses 6 times faster than any other group in America. Hear that, feel that, enjoy that, power that. And that is just the data. But we will continue to grow and we will continue to thrive, not only because of our numbers and not only because we have the power, the wallet, and the voice, but because of our values. Because Hispanics, we are hard workers. We believe 8 in every 10 Hispanics believe that hard working will get you further. And we owe it to our parents. We owe it to my mother, to your grandmother, who has been here working 2, 3 jobs at a time. We are hard workers, and that is a core value of Hispanics. And we're optimistic. We believe that we can do better, that we are actually going to continue being better. 6 out of 10 Hispanics are Hispanics about the future, and that is a contrary trend to all of the rest of non-Hispanics. We are aspirational. We believe that part of what we want to do is get into a better position. And we are family and friends. Our families are together. We have the lowest rate of single mother issues in America. So we're not only our numbers, but we're our values. And we continue to expand. We're the interracial marriage #1 in America. We surpass Asians. So we're big today, but wait until tomorrow. We will continue growing, and you will demonstrate that. So let's make this clear. Yes, we're the hard workers, we're the entrepreneurs, we're the voters, we're the taxpayers, we're the people that are, making America great. And yet, we are underrepresented, misrepresented, and undervalued. We're 18% of the population, but only 1% in politics. We're 18% of the population, but less than 1% in family programming. We're 18% of the population and less than 3% in tech overall in computer sciences. There's something wrong. It doesn't make sense. So I actually commissioned a study called the Hispanic Sentiment Study to understand one thing. ¿Qué carajos? It doesn't make sense. We're huge, but we think small. We're powerful, but we act weak. So we have a reverse marketing problem here. Whomever is doing the marketing for Hispanics is doing everything possible to hide our attributes and to present us as someone we are not. So when I started looking at this as a marketer for my entire life, I found 3 things that I would like to share with you. Are you ready? Yes. Number 1, we don't know our own power. Number 2, we cannot be ourselves at the workplace. And number 3, we're not a community. We're fragmented. We're not unified. So let me break this down for you. The number 1 and the most important one, I think, it is that we're not a community, but we want to be one. 90% of Hispanics feel Hispanic. So the jump between feeling Hispanic and acting as a Hispanic community is not that big. So let's be optimistic about that. What we have to do is break those silos. We're 26 different bubbles. The Mexicans don't talk to the Venezuelans, that don't want to talk to the Colombians, and even worse, the Cubans of Miami don't want to talk to the Cubans of Chicago because they're very different than the Cubans of LA. Let's bust those bubbles. Because when you're inside of your bubble, when you're inside of your Cuban from Miami bubble, you think that the air is limited. And if you breathe, you're going to take away my oxygen. And let me tell you, those bubbles are making us think small. So if we bust the bubble, we're going to realize that it doesn't matter if you breathe, because the air is abundant, and we can all coexist. And we're going to see, if you turn around, that we're many. Like in this group, do we feel like small in this group? We feel like big, so we have to become one. No more 26, only one. One Hispanic community. No more little thinking. We get it? That little thinking, because if we continue focusing on our differences, we will continue getting what we're getting, which is no representation, half of the salary, and half of the opportunity. If we bust the bubble and we become one, we're going to be heard as one community. That's my insight number 1. Are we ready for that? So let me tell you what we're doing for that. What we're trying to do at the World Human Foundation is create platforms for the leaders, the way that you're doing it here, to understand what is our joint agenda. What can unite us? Because it's perfectly fine that we're different. Let's not forget that. But if we focus on what we can achieve together, we're going to exercise the full power that we have, the potential power that we have. And I've seen it with my own eyes. When I was working for the for the Global Fund Tuberculosis and Malaria, we were fighting AIDS. And AIDS was faster than all of us. And we couldn't actually agree on, and the church was in one side actually being very concerned about the distribution of condoms, and the civil society was tying themselves to this desk of the senators, and it was like chicken without head, and everybody was actually doing individual efforts, but alone. It was until someone put the table at the seat at the table and said, we need to actually agree on what are we all gonna do, whether you're the church or civil society or the government, what are we all gonna do together? And we decided that the only way to fight and to win the battle against AIDS was to get affordable medicine for all. It was the one goal that actually guided us all to make it happen. And we have seen it in our own eyes. It's not only AIDS. You have seen it, the LGBT community. Only 10 years ago, the community was not a community, so it was a group of diverse people. They wanted to be invisible. They didn't want to be seen, and they were scared about being open, about being part of the community, because they were scared it will come and hurt them at the workplace. Look at it today. Look at it today. Today, they're visible, open, and by far more willing to speak about the community because it might actually take them in a better place. So we need to unite. We need to follow that trajectory. We need to find our marriage, the thing that unites them, and we have to actually be proud in a public space. So that's insight number one. Let me talk to you about the insight number two, which is that we don't know our own power, and this is a disaster in a way. The number two is that 77% of Hispanics have no idea of their own contributions to the country. I want you to imagine that 77% of the people that you work with have no idea what they're doing. Yeah? 77% of the waiters serving here today, they don't really know what the others are doing. You see the picture? That's what's happening to us. And we need to actually be relentless in educating and enlightening ourselves and the others. We need to actually understand that we're powerful. You need to see it. The numbers are there. You need to take a mirror and realize that we're that, strong body. We're not that weak person that we think we were. No, we've been waiting lifts. We've done it. We're powerful. Take a mirror. Enjoy feeling powerful. Enjoy feeling strong and part of a massive majority. And share the mirror with someone else. And it is actually the duty of people like you here is to become an ambassador of the Hispanic community. Don't actually let 10 people around you not know how many we are, the size of our wallet, the size of our future. What we are doing at the World Human Foundation is taking Hispanics to places that they have never been. We've taken Hispanics to Davos to let CEOs of global companies understand the power of the community. We're going to the Cannes Advertisement Festival, setting up for the community, for the creative community, understand that. We're putting billboards in Times Square saying, we are astronauts, we are scientists, we're business owners, we're Hispanics, that's us. Don't confuse us with migration or anything else. We're not pizza deliverers only, we're academics, we're scientists, that's us. The third and last point that I want to make is that the corporate America, and that has been my most incredible surprise, and I'm so proud of this. 74% of Hispanics, the Insight says, have to pretend they're someone they're not at the workplace. When I learned that, it was hard for me to believe because with unemployment being so low and Hispanics being so young, corporates are dying to hire Hispanics and to hire, the talent that we have. So how is it that we have to pretend we're someone they're not, and what corporate tools do we have to express that? So jointly with more than 20 Hispanic organizations, we launched this January something called the Hispanic Promise. And it's a promise to hire, promote, retain, and celebrate Hispanics. That was launched at Davos at the World Economic Forum this year, and we have more than 70 companies signed to date, less than 7 months ago. What does that tell you? It tells you corporate America wants to show that they care. wants to actually take the opportunity to say, I care for you. But let's not actually let that happen so easily. Let's actually say, like, care for my future, care for my community, invest on us. So all this group, let's make sure that you understand that you have the power as Hispanic talent, that you have the power as Hispanic community to go and talk to your employer and go and talk to, like your HR department or your employee resource group and tell them, like, have you signed the Hispanic Promise? This is something that is going to make corporate America demonstrate that they care even more. This is a joint effort of all of us. So take the opportunity, and for Hispanic Heritage Month, resist the half-an-hour bad margarita with tacos that your company might be thinking about, and say, like, okay, so let's do some tacos, that's all right, but like, can we talk about our future? Can we talk about how are you going to be promoting us? Can we talk about having corporate America send a signal all together that they care about Hispanics? So I want you to adopt and feel it on your own. Think about the Hispanic Promise as a tool that you can have to talk to your leadership. You are the leaders of today. You are the leaders of tomorrow. Take the opportunity and the bravery to go and speak for all of us at your workplace. So the last comment I have is just to make sure that you understand that change is happening. It is happening in front of us. It is happening. It's an undercurrent that is on you. Look at this room. I was a couple of weeks ago in the Cannes Advertisement Festival where we organized a seminar at the first ever event for Hispanics in the Cannes Advertisement Festival that has been running for more than 50 years. So the first ever Hispanic event hosted by the Wall Street Journal, where we had Mark Pritchard, the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer of Procter & Gamble, with Alicia Tillman, the Chief Marketing Officer of SAP, Viacom, etc. So we started the panel, and Mark Pritchard, the Chief Marketing Officer on Procter & Gamble, started the panel by saying, my real name is Nikki Gonzalez, but I never wanted to say it because I was scared that it wouldn't allow me to be where I am today. The entire panel froze, and he said, I don't want that for anyone else in the future. I want to actually, for you to feel that this trend is taking place, that Latinidad is actually coming, that like people are feeling more comfortable in their own skin in whatever situation they are. So feel proud to be Jorge, not George. Be proud to be yourself at the workplace, because our numbers and our values are enriching America every time more. So here's my call to action for all of us today. Number one, thank you so much, first of all, for ALPFA organizing this incredible gathering. I want to salute and celebrate you. I cannot tell you how important it is, this gathering and the people that are here. You're like the chosen ones, the lucky ones. So my call to action for all of us is, number one, let's speak up. Let's speak up about our own beauty. Let's bust those bubbles. Let's take a mirror. Enjoy being Hispanic. Enjoy feeling powerful, and take it and share it with someone else. Number two, deny fragmentation. Every time you catch yourself saying, like, I am different than someone else because I am Dominican, which is very different than Hispanics, resist it. Resist it for the sake of your parents. Resist it for the sake of your own future. And just like think of one. Hispanics united are strong, but fragmented we're not. So think of that and bust those bubbles. And number three, let's make corporate America roar Hispanic. Take the Hispanic Promise and make it one in your company. And for God's sake, use your voice. Go and participate in the census and participate and vote. And encourage others to do it. You're the leaders of your communities. Your voice matters, and people will follow you. And before closing, I couldn't resist but tell you, what happened in El Paso yesterday is something that is a lesson and is just a test for all of us as a community. It is the first mass shooting targeting Hispanics. Are we going to remain silent? From Nashville, we have to make noise, and we have to say El Paso fuerte, because we're not going to stay silent when people are targeting us. We're strong. We're the majority. Don't forget it. And please, Remember that you have wings, and these leaders of this group are going to fly as much as you can and as far as you can. But there's a special place in heaven for people, for Hispanics that support each other. So see you in heaven. Let's actually take a glass and raise for all of us making a difference. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.